Welcome to Never Shut Up. It's your boy, Marcellus Wiley. Yes, yo, turn the speakers up, God. Yo, God. I'm out here in New York City about to crush the buildings. Need to turn that corrupt song off the walls and put on some New York, New York, because I am back in my second home. Crazy, man. It's like a reunion for me, a 26-year reunion. I graduated in 97, Columbia University, and now I'm back to a graduation at Columbia University, but this time it's for my itty bitty. It's for my 24-year-old daughter who's graduating with a master's from Columbia in sports management. So looking forward to seeing her walk across that stage and do what she does, man. And it's crazy because this is a boys' trip. Let me tell you, I am on a boys' trip with my itty bitty, my boy, my 7-year-old, who's in the back right now. You might hear him every now and then say something, even though he ain't supposed to say something, but that's how life goes. So let's get it in, man. Y'all know how we start off every show. Well, what's up with that dude? Well, it's pretty obvious, right? That's what's up. See that background right there? That ain't downtown LA. You don't see any homeless people there. Well, you got to look a little closer. You know LA, but LA, golly. You be seeing billionaire, millionaire, homeless person, and another homeless person, then another billionaire. It's crazy out there. But in New York, man, the first thing that hit my son was the same thing that hit me when I first came here. Damn, this city is vertical. Like, what is going? He was just and you could tell because that was the first thing people warned me when I got to New York. Hey, dog, don't be the one out here with your neck like this because let's just say some people might want to pick your pocket. Remember back in the 90s, they used to pickpocket. I don't know if they do that right now. They do a lot worse. But back then, it was just like looking at all these buildings and it's crazy. Everyone's so crunched in, so pedestrian. LA so spread out, so low. Got your car, you're in your own island. It's just a different world. So it's pretty educational for my son and cultural for him to come out here and just check everything out. So that's been fun. This boys' trip is on steroids, y'all. I'm telling you, last night, don't order room service, especially when you haven't eaten all day because you've been on the flight and you with your little boy, so you got your man bones out like I'm about to show this dude how to grub. I ordered $225 worth of room service. Now, I don't know if I ordered that much or this place is just that damn expensive. But the point is, I went hard. It was one of them orders that you did with your eyes, not with your stomach. And then I ain't even eat half of it. So my boy, he tore them chicken tenders up. This dude over here tripping. He ain't used to all the luxe living, I guess. He over here like, Daddy, man, these are the best chicken tenders ever. I was dying laughing. Then he takes a shower. He's like, Daddy, the towel dries you off with one wipe. I was like, we need to change our towels at home. That's all it sounds like. But all is good is here, man. Feeling great. Excited for today. Wish her well, man, because the real world is right here in her face, and she's ready. All right, y'all, let's get this show started with our first topic. You know where we're going. The NBA playoffs, but in a different light. This is Never Shut Up. We ain't going to just talk about, oh, they won 106 to 103. Oh, my God, game-winning shot. We do that, but we do something different like this. Steve Kerr made a personal plea. No, not about guns this time, but to the NBA about flopping. He wants to flop and to stop. Let's talk through it. All right, so after the Lakers beat the Warriors in Game 4, he was in his feelings, right? Now, obviously, they have now got that series of 3-2. They win Game 6 in L.A. They got something. So Steve Kerr was complaining because of the flops and the gamesmanship that is going on by the opposing team, the Los Angeles Lakers. So he watched the tape, and then everybody started to criticize him, say, oh, you sound like a sore loser, blah, blah, blah. And he said, no, dog, I stand by my statement. He said, look, let's be real. I think to me, what I've learned coaching in FIBA, y'all know it, there's a flop rule. If a referee deems a player has flopped, they'll call it a technical foul, and it's pretty penalizing. And so the flopping has basically been eliminated from the FIBA. And we have the ability to do the same thing in the NBA if we want. Steve Kerr. See, this is when you know you got your big brain. You're a genius. You said, oh, no, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying somewhere else they do it different. And to me, based on experience, they do it better. What do you think, right? Because that's one thing about people, man. If you want them to change, make sure that they think they're changing because of themselves. It's a lot easier of a process. I learned that through relationships, and I certainly know it through marriage. Do not be the one who's the author of change, because people ain't going to read that book. They're going to be like, nah. And not until I feel it, not until I said it, not until I thought it, did I actually do it. So Steve Kerr has thrown it back at us. Let's answer the question. I'm in them comments with y'all. Do we really want flopping to go away? Because there's some theater to it, right? And I would say, look, the nugget of it is you did, at least in perception, get fouled. Sometimes a foul is like, look, you hack me, he gonna blow the whistle. Sometimes it's like, no, he affected me. Y'all ever see it when they shoot the shot and they hit that elbow real gently, and then you're like, is that a foul? And they don't call it. So then the player's like, bruh, I would have made that shot if he hadn't tapped my elbow. So guess what? Next time he comes anywhere close to my elbow, here we go. Wow. I got, like all of a sudden your ankle hurt because he tapped your elbow, right? You got to just sell it so that the referee is like, oh, I got to be more aware of what's going on when he's taking his shot. So flopping comes from a pure place. It comes from a place of like, yo, you ain't catching it all. And I'm not expecting you to catch it all because you are a human being, not a machine as a referee. But you got to catch more than you catching too at the same time, especially in critical moments. And we've seen no calls in critical moments. So therefore, flopping obviously is going to get supported. You're going to see guys flop more. So Steve Kerr is smart in saying this, but he also has some evidence for those who are still trying to clown him. Oh, Steve Kerr, you're still a sore loser. He's like, oh, y'all want to see the free throw discrepancy here? 103 free throws for the Lakers, 51 for the Golden State Warriors. So he like, look, I don't know what y'all out there seeing and doing, but it's not enough. There's no way that the free throw discrepancy should be that wide, and it shouldn't be worse. Looking at the Lakers, I'm like, are they flopping? And even LeBron had to respond to that, right? LeBron got some Google alerts on that Twitter. That sucker, you say LeBron and it's somebody he wants to respond to, somebody with a microphone, somebody with a platform. Oh, LeBron coming back. He ain't allowing that. He ain't KD level, but LeBron will respond. And LeBron was like, dog, 20 years of basketball, never been on a team that coached or flopped. So none of that is associated with the Lakers. What do you guys think? Y'all want to get rid of flopping? They got rid of flopping overseas. Can we do it over here? Coming up next on Never Shut Up. Oh, man, something's going down at St. John's, man. Rick Pitino's in, but how did he get in? Uh-oh. Rick Pitino just can't stay away from some controversy. It's crazy, but this one ain't necessarily about him. Let's talk through it next on Never Shut Up on Brings TV and Reads TV. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley out here in NYC stomping, crushing the buildings with the dog pound. Damn right, West Coast on mine, homie. Nah, it's love out here. Since I'm out here, you know I had to do this story about St. John's University. My man Mike Anderson, their former basketball coach, is now suing them for $45.6 million. And that 0.6 matters. Let's talk through it. All right. So the former coach, Mike Anderson, said he was fired with cause in March only so the school could avoid paying his buyout and use the money to hire Rick Pitino. Ooh, that's a headline right now. So $11.4 million was left on his contract, and an additional $34.2 million for punitive damages, basically the mental anguish. Look, you woke me up a couple of times in the middle of the night with the fear of what will I do next? I don't know. I lost my job. I don't know what is going to happen to me and my family. $34.2 million, please. That's what he's suing for. All right. So according to the termination letter, Anderson was fired for failure to create and support an environment that strongly encourages student athletes who are in the men's basketball program to meet all university academic requirements. Y'all starting to smell something? Failure to perform your duties and responsibilities in a manner that reflected positively on St. John's University in actions that brought serious discredit to the school and failure to appropriately supervise and communicate with your assistant coaches. Oh, did I add that that they hired Rick Pitino on March 10th, right around this time? Y'all see this? So Anderson, coach is like, dog, y'all tried to offer me a buyout for less than my $11.4 million on my deal before the school accused him of fictitious problems with his program and fired him for cause. Y'all catching the beats. All right, so they in conversations with Rick Pitino, probably quietly. They come to Anderson. Can we get a buyout with you? Look, you ain't did nothing wrong. We just want to, we'll move on. And they ain't going to tell him why. They got Rick Pitino on line too, right? So then they're like, can we move on from you? And he's like, for what? And then they're like, we just, here's a buyout. We'll make it easy for you. You're good. He probably obviously balked on that. And then next thing you know, we got to fire you. But we're going to fire you with cause so we can keep this money. Oh, insert Rick Pitino. And that's the switcheroo. Woo! And they got caught up in it, it sounds like. So obviously, St. John's is disputing it, saying that these are wildly inaccurate claims here. And this only other part that's interesting is they tried to say that it was because of the academic requirements, even though in 2020, St. John's actually had its highest cumulative GPA in the conference, and it was the first time it ever did it in program history. Sounds like they did all right. Now, COVID hit, and obviously everything slipped, probably all conference-wide, and he said, look, that wasn't on me. That was a COVID-related situation, but the crazy part about it is they also try to fire him and say, well, you weren't holding up to the standards that promoted the integrity of the university. And in his documents, he said, the hypocrisy of firing me and hiring always around some trouble, Rick Pitino. I wonder how that's going to help your promotion of integrity for your university. He said, this dude is enmeshed in one highly publicized sensational scandal after another over the years. Your Honor, case dismissed. Get this man his money, not all 45.6. Look, you got fired. They're going to pay you something. Okay, that's fine. They fired you for a cause. So you were like, dog, you're going to pay me something. But 4 to 5.6, just because you had some restless nights, that ain't it. But I do think he deserves some money because you can just see the switcheroo here. One, the switcheroo in terms of, I tell you guys all the time, every deal is done way before the deal is signed, way before you're supposed to do the deal. Illegally, unethically, whatever you want to say, at the combine, before free agency starts, we are working on deals, right? In the entertainment business, in the sports entertainment business. Y'all remember when Damian Woody got caught up? Well, was going to leave ESPN to go to Fox? They've been working on that thing forever and got to the goal line. And then ESPN was like, nah, B. And then it got ugly behind the scenes. Y'all didn't catch all that. But the point is, people work on this stuff all the time. Woody had another year or two on his deal there, and then they made sure he wasn't getting out of that deal. Point being, so this is the same situation. You know, you got your headhunter out there, you got your agents out there, and then all of a sudden, over coffee, Rick Pitino's name comes up. He's right there at Iona. You know, that's not far from St. John's, all in New York City where Marcellus is crushing the buildings. Oh, you know what we should do? I don't know. I mean, if there ever was an availability and an opening at St. John's, a revered university with a storied basketball history, I don't know. If you had a top tier coach like Rick Pitino, that would be a good landing spot. Why? Oh, it'd be redemptive for him. You know, he's done great at Iona. He's cleaned up his image, or at least people don't talk about him enough because he's at Iona. So no one is talking about Rick Pitino in a negative way. And what do you know? All right, you know what? I'm going to think on that. I'm going to chew on that. Then you go up to Mike Anderson and you're like, how you like it here at St. John's? He's like, what? And they're like, you're like, where'd that come from? What you mean? I'm doing all right. And he's like, you could be doing better. Our kids could be doing better in class. Our institution could be doing better in terms of reputation. And you got a laundry list of issues now. Because basically, the girl you with right now, all of a sudden, you finally got a look from that fine girl you always wanted. And that's what happened. That switcheroo occurred. and Mike Anderson gonna get paid for it. Not 45.6, but he about to pay up. They gonna give him some of that dough. Coming up next on Never Shut Up. Oh man, y'all parents out there tripping. A Florida man's been arrested for sucker punching an umpire at his son's game. What? Let's talk through that next on Never Shut Up on Brinks TV and Reach TV. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley out here with Corrupt, Dad, Snoop. You know, rest in peace, Nate Dogg Pound in New York City, baby. Don't y'all trip on us. West Coast in the house. Love and life, man. And thank you guys for your viewership on Brinks TV and Reach TV, and for your membership on YouTube and Wiley's World. Let's talk about this. This is crazy because y'all know I am a coach, obviously a father, and also concerned with how sports and the culture is shifting, especially when it comes to participation and the parents in attendance. Let's see this one. A Florida man been arrested for sucker punching an umpire who was also a disabled veteran, the umpire was, at his son's baseball game. Y'all know the setting. Y'all know the scene. Umpire was standing by the backstop just after a game when a man, after the game, y'all heard it, when a man walked up from behind and punched him in the head. You can see the video right here.
This video is from after a game ended at Liberty High School. You can see the man in the white shirt walk up to the unsuspecting umpire and punch him right in the head. The 63-year-old disabled Army veteran is knocked unconscious.
And the video shows umpire Moore immediately fall to the ground. Concerned players, concerned parents all run up to help him. Two men restraining the father after the attack at a local high school. This umpire does this because he has a passion for baseball and he likes to give back to his community and he loves to dedicate his time to baseball and to the kids. Guess who made that statement? The sheriff. The sheriff had to get involved in this situation because of what happened. The umpire was saying, all of a sudden, I felt something here in my temple, knocked me down. And he said he believes it happened because he had given an unsportsmanlike conduct warning to the son earlier in the game. Well, yes, the DNA is speaking. Your Honor, we can understand the connection between unsportsmanlike son and obviously father losing his cool and knocking the damn umpire out. Remember I told y'all that story about a couple of weeks ago? I was coaching my son in basketball, and then the other father kept complaining on every single call. They're 7-year-olds. If they can dribble, let's just all just stand and applaud because it's so difficult for them. They're learning the game. Relax. They're going to double dribble, triple dribble. They're going to travel, all of that stuff. And you know what the craziest thing is? Speaking of that, you see that little head trying to pop in? Sit down, boy. The craziest thing is my son is sitting out there and he's like witnessing all of this, taking it in. And I'm like, yo, you need to stop complaining. And he was looking at me. He wanted to say something, but it's more about I am the opposing coach. I am not to be played with, and I take this stuff very seriously. You know what he said? He's like, okay. But literally when he said that, I look on the court, guess who's complaining? His son at the same time. Crazy, right? So this story, you see it, it gets uglier. It gets crazy, right? All of a sudden, he gets punched, and then he gets arrested. They have to arrest the guy, and the sheriff was sitting there talking to him, and he was laughing while he was in the handcuffs. Are you serious? You think this is funny? He's like, and then they were all saying, he's basically laughing because I told him you're being arrested. And he said, I'm being arrested for defending my kid? Yeah, you've been arrested for hitting the umpire, donut. and defending your kid is just something you're going to try and justify it by, and it ain't going to work. There's no reason for him to take it to this level, okay? And I love what the sheriff said. The sheriff said this, look, parents, you may get too emotional to watch your kids and watch them play. All right. If you can't do that in person, guess what y'all should do? Watch it on YouTube later. Stay your butt away, basically, right? No parent should be acting like this in public. No one is getting paid out there. No one's getting drafted today out there. This isn't pro sports. Here we go. Let's talk about this culture right now. What's going on? Because there's always been money in sports. Look, when I got into the league, you know what all the vets told me? They were like, damn, they just giving that money away. That's in 97, y'all. Now, I'm sitting here as a vet or retired guy, right? And I'm looking around saying, man, they just giving that money away. They've always paid athletes more than the common man, right? So even if they weren't making this amount of money to this degree, they were always making more than the average Joe. So why are now parents acting a donkey? It ain't just the money. Parents are acting a donkey too because they know that, all right, this is how I show engagement, involvement. And they always skew athletics more than academics. How many times you heard of parents fighting and parents yelling and parents screaming and losing it when Johnny got an A on his test or Johnny brought home a great report card, right? There's no scene for that. There's no place where we congregate for that. And there's not the same level of emotion and support for that, right? So then it always goes down athletically. At the field, mob mentality, everybody with you. You got your soda cans with the beans in them and you're shaking and shaking. And then you're looking at the referee call against your team, against your son, and now you don't know how to act. And you expect your son or daughter to actually become a professional athlete or the best athlete they could be when you're that example of that level of character. Do you know, I tell people all the time, the best football players I ever saw in the world weren't all in the NFL. I know countless number of guys who didn't make it to the NFL, and it wasn't because they couldn't play. It wasn't because they weren't talented. It's because it takes so much more to become a professional athlete. It takes some of that drive and that character. It takes for you to be smart enough to know when to throw them and when to hold them, right? And these parents out here setting horrible examples for these kids today. So situations like this just irk me because I'm invested in it. And more importantly, your kids invested in it too. Like we shouldn't be over there. We ain't even the star of the show. We ain't on the field. We in the stands trying to be, imagine that, the dude who got the microphones in the back behind the curtain runs on stage trying to take the show away from Denzel. They're like, what the hell you doing? You ain't here. You ain't supposed to be here. So y'all, everybody collectively, let's just fix this problem. It ain't that hard. And stop performing for the damn cameras, parents. Nobody trying to watch all that. Coming up next on Never Shut Up, this might be the craziest topic I ever did on this show. Oh, man, what is this, episode number 72? We getting up there, y'all. But this one's going to be crazy. We are going to talk about a man, a basketball coach, having sex with an underage kid. Let's talk through it next on Never Shut Up on Breeze TV and Reach TV. Bye. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy, Marcellus Wiley in New York City. Get a rope. Yeah, y'all remember that commercial. Don't lie. Don't act like I don't remember that commercial. Where's the beef? Oh, man, I got a rabbit hole of commercials I could just dive into. Ooh, do I see Office Linebacker down there in that rabbit hole? Y'all remember all the great ones? Oh, there are too many. We're going to do a segment on best commercials ever and get sued by all of them because copyright. They're going to be like, thank you. Nobody been talking about this commercial for 20 years. All right, y'all, man. I got to talk about something that is no laughing matter right now. And y'all know I'm a father of 4, and I have 3 daughters. And this story hits you where it hurts, especially if you're a parent. And, you know, I just got to salute my parents because they did the best that they could in the environment that I was raised in. And, you know, we moved from Compton to off Slauson, which became South Central. And at that time, they just thought that they were going and chasing greener pastures. And they protected me as best as they could, but still there was violence, gangs, and the drugs and stuff that was going on that took a lot of my teammates and a lot of my friends' lives. But man, some of the stuff that doesn't get reported are some of the things I'm going to talk about right now in this story as well. It's not just always violence. It's not always in homicide. It's not always in theft. It's in situations like this where there's a voluntary basketball coach who is 20 at a middle school in Detroit accused of having sex with a 12-year-old girl and recording it. Told her he was 15. Yeah, let's get to this story right now. According to reports, he filmed himself having sex with a middle school girl, 12, earlier this year when he was 19 years old. Okay, already there. 12-year-old girl back in January, while she was waiting to be picked up from cheerleading practice is where he met her. He reportedly told the girl he was 15 years old, and she told him she was 12. All right. He then hit the middle school girl on Instagram and Snapchat and told her he liked her. Then on January 10th or 11th, he asked the girl to come over to his house. When she got to his home, he continually asked her to do it. Y'all remember the old term, old phrase? Yeah. Instead of saying sex, do it, right? He and the girl had sex, which he recorded on his cell phone. Now, this gets crazy. And it's crazy already. The video was discovered by another student after the 12-year-old girl let the student use her phone. They saw several videos and images of the 12-year-old having sex with an adult man after the phone was returned. They took a screenshot and shared it on Instagram. Few students said it looked like somebody who they knew, and they told a teacher, who then reported it to the police. Search warrant carried out, found the video on his phone. So now he's accused of producing child pornography, distributing and possessing child pornography. I'm sure, obviously, underage minor as well. But if convicted, guess what? Faces up to 30 years in prison for producing child pornography, up to 20 years for distribution, and up to 20 years for possessing it. Now, the statutory rape, not listed here, but I'm sure it's a part of that as well. Woo! What do we think of this situation other than the obvious, right? Now, the obvious is not just to learn from this situation, but to protect you and yours in terms of this potentially happening to you. My parents were really strict in the terms of we never spent the night out with somebody else. Like all my friends that have sleepover. Never. And there was points where I was like, yo, this is too much. And, your dog cursing your mom in your head. I hate you, all that stuff. And I was just thinking like, now looking back, she was trying to protect me from situations like this. The guy who has the wayward uncle, the uncle who, or the father or whoever it may be. My parents were always leery of situations like this and always extra cautious about situations like this. But it doesn't have to happen overnight and you went somewhere. It could happen when you just give your kids a little too much bandwidth, too much time outside of your supervision or knowledge, right? If they're at practice for 2 hours, I like to be at the practice, tell you the truth. Even if I'm not coaching, I like to be there. But not everybody can do that. Totally get it. But in those situations, you got to really monitor it. Because a 2-hour practice should be 2 hours, commute time, 15 minutes. Okay, 2.5 hours, be back here, homie. Simple as that. And let's check in. And then when you're going around the neighborhood and where you're going, 4, 5, 6 hours. Now, when we grew up, it kind of was like that. And it wasn't like that for me, but it was like that for everybody. And it seemed like everybody was just like gone. I was like, damn, your parents ain't tripping. And then, when you were a kid and your parents ain't tripping, you sitting there like, I got the bad parent. When in reality, no, you got the good parent. Maybe their parent's not bad, but they ain't doing necessarily all the checking in that they should be doing. And in this situation, look, a 12-year-old and you don't know the circumstances, and you can't even say that it was because of the parents' neglect or anything. But the point of this is, who are your kids around? Every time I check on how to raise a kid, I read books, I read pamphlets, I get the emails, we all get it. Something that's trying to give you some guidance in terms of being a parent. They always say, who do your kids hang around? And they always say, check in on your kids, check in on who they know. It's amazing. You will buy your child a phone, and then your child will lock you out the phone like you're 12 years old. Whatever's on that phone should be above board enough where I can check on it. Don't mean I am. Don't mean I'm stepping into your world all like that. But if you got to hide your phone, you got to hide all this stuff. What you talking about? What you up to at 12? At 15? If you in my house, look, there's going to be some of my rules, right? And you're going to respect those rules. It's a tough situation, man, because what we're really talking about is the management of that line of giving them their space to grow, to mature, privacy, and then also, hey, I got to supervise you. And sometimes that comes down in a strict way, right? Comes down with a heavy hand. And then the kid takes it the wrong way 9 times out of 10 because they're looking around like nobody else is tripping and you're the only one tripping. Just like how we grew up, and I know that the teachers that we hated all of a sudden become the ones you love when you get older, right? The ones you hated that held you accountable, that didn't give you an easy A or easy B, the ones that made you work, you hated them in that moment, right? And then you look back, you're like, damn it, that was love right there, because that taught me to be more responsible. In situations like this, a predator out there, you know, if true, a predator out there, but got video and all this stuff, so I can leave allegedly out of this one, it seems like. If this guy was a predator to a 12-year-old, was it his first time? Seriously, it's going to be his last time, but was it his first time? And then more importantly, what can you do to make sure you're not the victim, right? It's okay. Like, let them kids hate you. Let them kids be mad at you. Be a parent. Stop trying to be the homie. Stop trying to be the friend. Buy the phone and then scared to even ask them what they're doing on the phone. Come on, y'all. We got to stop situations like this. At least put them to a halt, because this is unreal. Hit me in the heart right here on this one. Tough sledding right there. I couldn't even get into it like I wanted to because, yay, y'all know. Woo! Wouldn't be seeing much of Wiley if that happened to Wiley. All right, y'all. Y'all know how we end every show with a Wileyism. Ooh, man. Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. I think we all have heard this one before. And if not, ooh, wait, you in for it right now, because, man, how many times have you just sat there and had that goal, had that dream of getting that thing, right? And then you accomplish it. And 9 times out of 10, you rewrite and do another one, right? You envision another goal, another thing to go and achieve, right? And that's success. But then what makes you feel at peace and happy and just fulfilled is just wanting what you got, right? Instead of always imagining more or imagining what you don't have. That's even worse. You know, just sitting there, you're never just feeling happy because you're always chasing or you're always thinking about somebody else's, and you can't be in that zone. You got to be in the zone that's locked in for you. And I've been successful. I will humbly say I've had some success. And then some of those things really I wasn't that happy about, just because the pursuit was so damning. It was so difficult. When I got there, I didn't enjoy it because I wanted more. Happiness is wanting what you get. And if you want more, you're not happy with what you got. If I take my son right now and go buy him a Beyblade, and he's like, yay, success. He got him a Beyblade. But he ain't happy if he's sitting there immediately as I give him that Beyblade. He's like, oh, daddy, look at that one. I want that one too. He's like, bro, be happy with what you got, right? Simple as that. It's a small lesson that can mean a lot to all of us. So success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. That'll do it for today's episode of Never Shut Up. Oh, from New York City. I'm about to take my boy to my old stomping ground. MJ, Biscuit, come here, man. Come say hi. Come say hi. Come say hi. This is how dusty my boy look. I'm over here talking about being a good parent, and then look at this dust bowl. Oh, we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Peace. And this is a real afro, y'all. Taking it back, baby. The 80s, baby.